Light flickered over the dining table, glinting off untouched silverware. The roast sat cold, the air thick with gravy and tension. Dad leaned forward, his voice sharp enough to cut bone. "Pick the fold-out or pack your things, tonight." The fork slipped from my hand, a bright clang against the plate. For a moment, I thought he was joking. Then I saw Justin's grin, the kind that came right before he took something that wasn't his. His wife stood behind him, perfume thick, nails perfect. My heartbeat drummed in my ears. I'd paid the electric bills, the repairs, even the brand new fridge humming beside us. My own tally flashed behind my eyes. $85K poured into this house, line by line. And now I was disposable. Mom stayed silent, her gaze fixed on the pot roast as if it could save her. Justin's wife smirked, twisting her wedding ring like she'd already claimed the deed. The walls felt closer, my breath shorter. The knife clinked against Dad's plate. Justin chuckled. "Don't drag this out, Dorothy." My chair scraped back hard. Rage burned up my spine. I stood, grabbing my keys. "Fine, I'm gone." The words came out steady, too steady. I walked upstairs, the floorboards creaking like they knew it was the last time. I packed fast. TV, the couch cushions I'd bought, even the coffee maker that kept me sane after 60-hour weeks. My hands shook, but I didn't stop. Outside, the air bit cold. The streetlights hummed low, sodium orange against my skin. I loaded the car, box by box, each one a reminder of the years I'd carried them all. The trunk slammed shut. Keys clicked. Behind me, the house stayed dark, silent except for the fridge hum I'd paid for. My family didn't come to the door. I looked once, then drove off, the headlights cutting through mist that smelled faintly of wet asphalt and loss. Air thinned, my pulse steadied. The roast cooled, my anger didn't. Before we go further, what time is it where you are right now? And which city are you listening from? I'd love to know how far my story has traveled. The hum of my new fridge was softer than the one I'd left behind. A different kind of silence filled the apartment. Clean, but lonely. Cardboard boxes leaned like tired soldiers, their tape still smelling of glue. I replayed that dinner every night, trying to find the moment I'd stopped belonging. Years earlier, when Grandma died, the bills had started stacking. I'd moved home to help. Electricity, roof, property tax, all on my paycheck. $12,000 a year, give or take. Dad would nod when I handed him receipts, but save his smiles for Justin. Justin, his endless ventures. Food trucks, crypto apps, each collapse softened by Dad's praise. Mom whispered once, "She's just helping George. Justin's got big dreams." It still burned. The apartment light buzzed. My fingers traced the rim of my coffee cup. Then came Miriam, the woman with the SUV and the perfect laugh. She wore success like perfume. The night Justin brought her home, she talked about leverage, equity, flipping houses. Dad's eyes lit up as if she'd spoken scripture. Perfume and applause. That's all she needed. I watched her show off new handbags, phones labeled as business expenses. "Real estate money," she said. In Omaha? I'd done the math. It didn't add up. Once I asked Mom if she ever wondered where it came from. "She's successful, Dorothy. Don't be so skeptical." Skeptical. That word stuck like grit in my teeth. Weeks later, Gloria, the only friend who checked in, dragged me to yoga. Sweat, lavender mats, the quiet rhythm of breathing. For an hour, I forgot their voices. When I got home, I couldn't shake a thought. If Miriam's money was fake, how deep did it go? So I called Michael, an old real estate contact. His tone changed the second I said her name. "Miriam Cole? Her firm's under investigation, phony appraisals, client funds gone missing." The room tilted. Air felt heavy. I called Dad that night, voice steady. "You need to know what she's tied to," he sighed. "Don't stick your nose in their business." Click. Deadline. Then, Mom, they're happy. Let it go. If I'm right, we all bleed. I started digging. Emails, property searches, complaints filed under her agency. The paper trail pulsed like veins under light. Paper cuts stung my hands. Fluorescence hissed. A name appeared beside Dad's. Second lien. My chest tightened. It wasn't paranoia anymore. It was proof. Numbers hum louder than lies. The glow from my laptop painted the room blue. Papers covered the floor. Printouts, notes, receipts. The air smelled like toner and cold coffee. Every line I read tightened the knot in my chest. I had proof now. And proof changes everything. Miriam's name appeared again and again beside my father's signature. A second lien. 6 figures. The house I'd kept afloat was leveraged to a shell company. I scrolled further. 90,000 transferred from their joint savings to an account linked to her firm. Ink bled through my fingers. I thought of all the times I'd fixed their sink, paid the bills, said nothing. Every quiet favor, every unspoken receipt. It all led here. The city buzzed outside, faint and steady. Somewhere a siren rose, then faded. Next morning I drove to my parents' house. The porch light flickered, the same bulb I'd replaced last year. Justin stood by the driveway, grocery bags at his feet, phone in hand. "We need to talk," I said, holding up the email from Michael. He glanced at the screen, eyes narrowing. "You're jealous," he snapped. "Miriam's successful, you can't stand it." That word again, jealous, like it explained everything. "You're convenient, not necessary," he added. My throat burned. I'd heard enough. Inside, the house smelled of soup and bleach. Mom stirred a pot without looking up. Steam fogged her glasses. "Mom," I said quietly. Hazel knew Miriam before Lincoln. Her firm forged signatures. She was part of it. The spoon paused, midair, then moved again. "Dorothy, don't start trouble. Justin's happy." The floor creaked beneath my shoes. Something inside me broke. Not loudly, just final. Ink smells warm. Back home, I printed everything. Emails, property records, transaction logs. My engineering brain mapped the data like blueprints. Each connection was another nail in the coffin Miriam had built. I didn't sleep that night. The hum of the fridge became a metronome, counting seconds I couldn't reclaim. At 2:37 a.m., I opened a new folder on my desktop. Truth. Inside, I saved every file, every note, every receipt. Then I opened the voice recorder app and stared at it. The red dot blinked. Patient. Tomorrow, I'd make them listen. My finger hovered over the button. I hit record and drove back. Porch lights blazed white against the dark, catching dust in the air like floating ash. 2 investigators stood in the driveway, badges glinting. I heard Dad's voice tremble before I saw him. "This is about some real estate deals," one of them said, flipping through papers. "We need to speak with Miriam Cole." Justin paced behind him, phone clutched tight, his face drained. "She's lying. Mom, tell me she's lying." No one answered. The smell of damp soil rose from the lawn. I stayed near the sidewalk, invisible, listening. The officers handed Dad a card, warning they'd be back. The word fraudulent hung in the night air like smoke. The porch creaked under my shoes as I stepped forward. My breath steamed in the cold. Across the street, a black SUV idled. Miriam. She hadn't seen me yet. I crossed fast, my phone recording in my pocket. "Miriam!" I called. My voice was steady, even colder than the air. She froze, eyes darting to the house. "What's this about, Dorothy?" "I know about the mortgage, the transfers. You used them." Her jaw tightened. Then came the smirk, sharp, practiced. "Fine, I took the money. Your dad signed off. Justin never reads what he signs." The words slid out smooth as oil. I pressed the record button harder, catching every syllable. "You used them," I said. "They trusted me," she shot back. "That's on them." Tires squealed as she sped away. The smell of burnt rubber lingered, stinging my throat. Inside, Justin was unraveling. His hands trembled over the paperwork the investigators had left behind. "How could she do this?" he muttered. "You knew something was off. Why didn't you stop her?" I stared at him, stunned. "I tried. You called me jealous." Mom wept quietly in a corner. Dad sat at the table, head in hands. The house felt smaller, the air thick with bleach and fear. For years, I'd carried their debt, their silence, their blindness. This was never my fire to put out. The fridge hummed, same as always. I walked toward the door. "Send the file to the agents," I said. The florist waited. Det did too. Outside, the wind bit hard, tugging at my coat. "Let the house answer." Morning light spilled across my drafting table, warm and sharp. Blueprints stretched like quiet rivers under my palms. The coffee smelled clean. New beans, new life. 6 months had passed since that night. Gloria dropped by after work, her laugh echoing through the apartment. "To you, Dorothy," she said, raising her glass. "You're killing it." We clinked glasses. The sound was bright, forgiving. I'd earned a promotion. Lead engineer on a bridge project spanning the Missouri. The raise covered new furniture, a bookshelf, and the coffee table I'd wanted for years. My space finally felt like mine. The hum of the AC soft, the scent of varnish still fresh. Sometimes I caught myself counting again. 85K, 12K, 90K, 230K, the ledger of my past. But now, those numbers felt lighter, like stones I'd set down on purpose. Gloria nudged me. "You still thinking about them?" "Sometimes," I said, "but not the same way." The city outside hummed. Buses, rain on metal roofs, someone's dog barking 3 floors down. Ordinary sounds, and for once, I didn't flinch. I'd heard through mutual friends. The house was gone. Foreclosed after months of missed payments. Justin now worked part-time at a hardware store. Dad drove deliveries. Mom cleaned houses. They'd moved into a cramped rental on the edge of town. Once Dad left a voicemail, voice cracking. "We're sorry, Dorothy, we were blind." I never called back. Mom's letter came weeks later, folded twice, a page of apologies. I kept it on the counter, unopened. Forgiveness could wait. Still, part of me hoped they'd learn what I had. Boundaries hold. I wasn't cruel, just finished. Some nights I walked home from yoga, air cool against my skin, streetlights painting silver lines on the pavement. The quiet no longer felt empty. It felt earned. Family isn't who shares your blood. It's who stays when you have nothing left to give. Gloria stayed. She never asked for proof or payback. Just showed up with wine and warmth. That was enough. At work, I pinned a note above my desk. "Never fix what broke you. Numbers don't lie. And neither do boundaries." Before I end this, thank you for listening, for staying through the mess. Have you ever had to draw that line? With family, with love, with duty? What did it teach you? Tell me in the comments. I'd like to hear how far your story has traveled too.